for Slurp Vision. We're here at Wine Pantry in Borough Market. This is actually London's exclusively English wine shop and tasting room, and we're about to be joined by Skelton MW for a tasting of some sparkling and still English wines. Hi, so we're here with Skelton MW, who is going to be tasting some of the wines with us today. And can you maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into?
Yeah, well, I've been involved with English wine for far too many years, really, over 35 years. I first started growing vines in Kent in 1976, 77, and planted my first vineyard. And really, since then, I've been involved in one way or the other in English wines, either as a vineyard owner, winemaker, or more recently as a consultant.
Okay, good. So we're definitely with an expert here at English wine. Perfect. But just before we get into it, actually, I'd love to ask you a few questions. A lot of the consumers still aren't quite, used to the idea of English wine, or they don't really know where to start. Can you maybe tell us a little bit some of the key things to look out for in terms of sparkling wine or white wine?
Yes, well, one of the problems with English wine, of course, is there isn't very much of it. So people will undoubtedly be only able to buy a very small selection. So if they can't go to the vineyard, where obviously that's much easier to choose wines because you'll have people on hand to tell you about them. If you go to one of the major supermarkets such as Waitrose, they do have quite a good selection. You'll see probably quite a few sparkling wines and a few still wines. The sparkling wines tend to be like champagne. They're mainly made from the champagne varieties, and in many respects they're as good as, sometimes even better than champagne, and they're about the same price as champagne. The still wines tend to be, if anything, a little bit more like German wines, although not as sweet, so they're generally on the drier side, quite fruity, fresh, good aperitif wines. Some of them are a little bit like Sauvignon Blanc from France, or maybe from Loire particularly, but from New Zealand also, not quite as punchy. Also, alcohols tend to be a little bit lower, so that for some people that's quite a good thing.
Yeah,
so alcohols in the sort of 11.5, which is a couple of notches below what we get from other countries. So they're good, fresh, fruity wines for aperitif drinking.
Good, sounds good. And the other thing is, we're obviously going to be doing some sparkling wine, some white wine. What are you thinking about the red wines? Is that something that the English wine market is?
Only in my nightmares do I think about red wine.
Well, let's try it today and see how they go.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of English red wines by and large. There's been a few vintages in the last 10 years, perhaps 2003, maybe 2009, where some interesting red wines, but in terms of price and quality, I think you have to perhaps look elsewhere.
Where do you think they're lacking? Is it just the temperature?
If you look at our nearest wine growing regions, such as Champagne, makes no red wine. The Loire makes very little red wine. Western end. The climate is against you for making robust red wine. You can make some quite good fruity Pinot Noirs, and as I say, there are one or two vintages where interesting red wines will come along. I'm not saying never, because 20 years ago the idea that we could produce sparkling wine from Chardonnay was inconceivable. So red wines, we've got red varieties, they will be grown, people will try, and I'm sure they will get better and better.
Good, okay, thank you. Well, let's get started. So let's start with the Rich View that goes in 2008.
Yeah. Good foam on it, good head. Yeah, so this wine is unusually for sparkling wines, is 100% made from Chardonnay. So it's a Blanc de Blanc, quite a young wine, 2008. And this wine, in fact, won the Decanter World Wine Awards for the best English wine. So this is a really good, top quality wine. On the nose, with Chardonnay, 100% Chardonnay, you don't get perhaps quite the fruit that you get with a Pinot blend. But on the palate, certainly, this has a lovely acidity, very well balanced acidity. So now we've got the Nyetimber. This is 2006. This is really the industry leader. This is a blend of both Pinot and Chardonnay. Nice colour, very good nose, good yeasty character on the nose. Still quite a young wine, 06.
Wow, it's very different.
Really full. Yeah, it's very different because it's got the Pinot element. Really, really good, and I think this is an excellent substitute for champagne. I think it's better than most champagnes. And around the same sort of price, £24, £25, so really good value.
Now, people are actually saying that the 06 is much better than the 05. Would you agree? Is there a reason for that?
Nyetimber 05, 06, I think is slightly better. I think they're both good wines,
Okay.
though. But they're better than perhaps some of the wines they had before.
Okay, so they're always...
They're getting into a slightly younger, fresher style, where before they were perhaps a slightly older style. This is much more now of a champagne style.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have what we would say is an entry-level wine. This is a non-vintage wine, Chapel Down Brut. Sells for around sort of 17, 18 pounds. You might find a little bit less in some places. Made not entirely from champagne varieties, but also got a little bit of the other varieties we grow in the UK, things like Müller-Thurgau and Reichensteiner. On the nose, a bit more floral. And on the palate, a little bit softer, less classic perhaps than champagne, but still good, still refreshing, still certainly worth buying. So this is the wine perhaps you would start at in terms of price.
One thing I just want to ask, why do you think that the English sparkling wines are always made in the method champenois? Is it because they're so similar in the geography, or is it just the...
Because the best sparkling wine method is the method champenoise. It's the bottle fermented method, the traditional method. The other methods used are generally only used for much cheaper wines.
Okay.
And I don't think we want the industry to start using non-champagne methods, because it will lower the quality and lower the perception of quality.
So out of these three, do you have any favorites? I think mine would be the Nyetimber. I think it's really, really nice.
Yes, I mean they're different wines for different occasions. I think the Nyetimber is probably the wine that is the best of those three. Although having said that, I have given the Grosvenor some very good marks in the past.